You're listening to the Snob OS podcast, the podcast for Apple snobs. Hey, this is Nica Montford, aka Tech Savvy Diva.
Yo, this is Terrance Gaines, aka Brother Tech.
And welcome to the Snob OS Show, the show for Apple snobs where we talk all things Apple and then some. Welcome back, everybody, to this week's episode. We definitely want to do a quick check-in and thank you for your continued support of us and of this show. On this week's show, we're going to jump into probably the biggest tech story we've seen in a minute, and that is Apple suing OpenAI over some hardware trade secrets. We're also going to get into the fact that really what is the cause for the Apple stock to rally to a historic 15% increase. We have some thoughts on that. We'll also talk about that the iOS 27, the public beta is now live, and pretty much everyone gets to test out SiriAI before it hits the market officially in September. We're also going to talk about data centers. New York has made some strides against data centers, and I'm interested to find out if you think that this is going to cross over to other states as well. And for the culture, it was an all Jay-Z weekend. He took over New York with 3 shows back to back to back over the weekend. We're going to get into a little bit of that. And rounding it out in the hookup, we're going to talk about how you protect yourself from the FaceTime bank scam. With that, before we jump into the show, we want to also give you a quick reminder that you can listen and or watch our show. You can rate and review our show on the following platforms: Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube. You can also visit patreon.com/snoboscast to find out how you can watch the show early, watch the show live, and get some additional exclusive content. All right, with that housekeeping stuff out of the way, let's go ahead and jump into this week's show. We're going to kick it off in the lowdown where we talk all things Apple. So, like I said, probably one of the biggest tech stories definitely of the year, and if not only of the year, one of the biggest ones we've seen in a minute. And this happened all on July 10th. Apple filed a federal lawsuit in Northern California accusing OpenAI of running a coordinated campaign to steal its trade secrets, specifically around product design, especially on the hardware side of things, the way they manufacture their products, as well as how they operate their supply chain. The suit names OpenAI, of course, that's Sam Altman, IO Products, that includes Johnny Ive, and 2 former Apple employees, Tang Tan, who is the OpenAI's hardware chief. We just talked about him last week, I believe, or maybe the week before, that he made his exit from Apple. And they're also suing a senior electrical engineer, Chang Liu, who allegedly kept her Apple-issued laptop after leaving. And this is one of the things where it's not where Chang Liu is like, oh, I kept my laptop and I forgot to turn in. Based on the screenshots that I've seen from the filing, she intentionally kept it and said she wasn't giving it back. She actually messaged on the internal network to one of her former colleagues that she realized she still had access to the network. She said, quote, LOL, I found out I can access the network storage. So funny. And so during this exchange, again, she's a senior electrical engineer, so that's a lot of times on hardware design. So my question to you is, I think it's a pretty big deal. How big of a deal do you think it is?
Well, it's pretty big enough for Apple to sue and actually name specific people in the lawsuit. One just happens to be a super high up at OpenAI, right? Mm-hmm. I think this is a serious enough for one for Apple to sue. And I think the reason why they sued is because they want to preemptively shut down any hardware that OpenAI might be building, including a AI first smartphone, right? We are always, we on this show, and maybe some other people who are concerned about AI and its effects, seen or unseen, right? There are a lot of people who don't care.
Yeah.
There are a lot of people, there are a lot of companies who are AI all day long. You can tell by all the flyers that you see on social media that clearly you can tell are done by AI, and AI is just copy and paste, copy and paste. And so clearly there are people out there who don't care about the effects on the environment, don't care about the effects on the electrical grid. They don't care about the increase in prices of random things as a result to AI. So all that to say, OpenAI probably knows this, and I believe they are trying to build a AI first phone, because all of these other devices, Google has Gemini, it integrates Gemini into the phone. Samsung has its AI. Of course, now the public beta is out, so people are playing with Apple's AI, which is integrated into the phone. I believe that Apple suspects that OpenAI may make a AI phone, like an actual AI phone that is AI first. And all the people who are making these flyers, and all the people who are trying to run their businesses, and all the people trying to use AI in their personal lives, and they're heavy users, and maybe not even heavy users, just people who chat to chat GPT, use the chat bot to be a therapist, to be a doctor, to be a whomever. Those are the people who would probably jump ship from Apple and jump over to OpenAI, because like we've talked about ad nauseum for the past 2 or 3 years, Apple's hasn't figured it out yet. We think that this new SiriAI may be onto it, but we don't know yet until it becomes public for real. But I think a lot of people who are AI first now and don't care about the effects, they may jump ship and go to OpenAI if they come out with an AI phone or some other AI hardware. Apple suspects this, so they're like, what you're not about to do is use our intelligence, use our IP, use our ideas to help you build a phone that could take customers away from us, right? So I think in addition to Apple protecting its intellectual property, I feel like this is also a way to protect itself, or what's the word, preemptively slow down the production of a AI smartphone by suing all the people who may be using Apple's products, maybe using Apple's IP to actually build this thing.
It's almost like Rico adjacent, right? So they pull the design guy, they pull the hardware guy, they have this kind of inside person on the corporate espionage who still has access to Apple's internal server and knows that they have access, and use someone who still worked at the company to kind of guide them around. And again, this is a senior electrical engineer, so they kind of know their way around. And it's almost like they kind of like pull the different pieces together to kind of make their own version, and to get the, like it said, product designs, manufacturing process, and supply chain strategies. Now, if I was building a competing device, sure, I would definitely poach talent from somewhere else. But I think this crosses the line when you have someone who doesn't supposed to have access, knowingly still has access, and refuses to turn in the hardware, and is still accessing the internal server that has, different stuff on it. And it's one of those things where as I was researching articles for this week's story, it appears that OpenAI has 5 hardware products on their product roadmap that they plan to release. The first one is essentially a home pod that moves.
Well, actually, before that, I think OpenAI just dropped a codex. It's like a little box that helps you navigate OpenAI. I think they've already announced it. So that's one of the products. You make a good point, though, is that not only in addition to OpenAI trying to create products using Apple's IP, they're also trying to understand supply chain, also trying to understand the manufacturing process, also trying to understand, all these other little hardware
Because they're a software
intricacies.
company, right? They don't
Right.
know anything about physical products.
And guess who knows the ins and outs of bringing a hardware product to market? Apple does. So,
You get your hardware, the guy who's been there for 15 years. You get the
right.
chief design officer who's been there for decades. It's starting to look, a little suspicious.
Right.
And it's just really, I don't know. It's not a good look.
Well, we'll see. We'll see if the
Yeah.
courts believe it. We'll see if Apple has enough evidence to actually push this through, or is this a pump fake slash,
Right.
fake little cease and desist
If
to where,
anything,
yeah.
no, go ahead.
I was gonna say if this is some little way to see if OpenAI is gonna call our bluff. If OpenAI calls our bluff and like, all right, we taking it to court, Apple may be like, well, we,
I think
yeah,
I think probably the biggest thing, if they can't prove the trade secret stuff, what they can prove is that, OpenAI may get off the hook, but this Chang Lu, I think it's a she, she might be the fall guy. Somebody has to take an account for this. And the fact that she refused to give up the laptop and found that she still had access and was still accessing it when she knew that she shouldn't, and was like messaging on the machine to the other person. I'm like, how, when I was reading, because when it first happened, I saw some people obviously posting about it on social media, and I said, this, nobody cannot be this, I
people are.
guess, incompetent, for
It's
the
not.
lack of word, but
It's not even incompetent. People are starved for attention, and if
and
she can,
Chang Lu is a male, by the way. I misaddressed it. I misgendered them, but Chang Lu is a male.
yeah, people are starved for attention, and this was her way to be like, look at me. I may have some secrets. She may or may not have went through with actually exchanging those and turning those over to the whomever's over in OpenAI, and then they actually use that to make something or replicate or emulate whatever Apple is making. But at the very least, people are starved for attention, and her having Apple secrets would give her a lot of attention over at OpenAI.
I guess, but is it worth
Consequences
going to
be
jail
damned.
for?
Consequences
Because
be damned,
I
man.
don't think OpenAI is gonna
Well, and
pay for
that's
your lawyers.
and that's the rub, right? It's like, why do it when you cannot confirm this company is going to have your back? More so, they may make you the scapegoat.
The fall guy. Like, we didn't know anything about this. Their work, we reviewed their work, and it's not yours. We promise. But we didn't, if he took, because the thing is, with some of this stuff, the knowledge base that this person has, they're obviously talented at what they do. The knowledge base that they have and the knowledge that they are taking from Apple and bringing to OpenAI, if it's not word for word the same thing, or if it's not an actual where you can draw a line to where it is, and it's not just some regular design, it's gonna be hard to prove that that person, Chang Lu, used their information. He's like, well, this is my own brain work. Just because I saw it over here doesn't mean that I didn't use that. I used it. I use my own brain. So that's the part that's going to be hard, I think, to probably link, unless it's a one-for-one copy design. But the fact that he did access this, and he was talking to an employee over the same network on the machine, knowing that they tracked it, he still did it and was kind of, celebrating and, like, bragging about, look what I found. I can still do. So I think if they can't prove that trade secrets were actually stolen, I think this I won't say lowly employee, because he is a senior engineer, but might be the fall guy for this whole thing. And I don't think this is going to be a short or easy process. And in the meantime, OpenAI is going to continue with their roadmap and delivering, whatever they're doing. And so it's kind of be like a back thing that they have to do. So it's all a mess. But the fact that somebody was willing to openly brag about this over the network that you basically stole is insane to me. But people are weird. All right. Next up, the Apple stock. So the day after WWDC, the Apple stock slid about 4%. And people were like, this is interesting. Is it going to rally? Well, it did. It got back 15% in record territory, adding nearly 600 billion in market cap. And some of the reasons that investors are pointing to is that Apple never joined the data center, big spending. It looks like also their buy-in to AI is mostly on the new assistant and not some of your more I guess it's traditional AI, but it's not, it's just kind of like, it's not a footnote. It's definitely a feature, but it's not the overall thing that the company is talking about. So AI is there, but they're not making it the main focus. And the other thing is the uptick in prices that Apple announced, what was it, last week or the week before, is a reason why, is what they're accounting to as the reason why the stock rallied. And, investors love to make more money. And so if products are going up, around, in some instances, up to like $300-$400, that makes them happy. And the stocks seem to rebound because of that. And it's the investors are happy, but the consumers, not so much.
That's typically how it works. Companies they start off to make a good product. And then from there, that point on, it's make good stock prices, good revenue for shareholders and investors, right? So unfortunately, companies like Apple, their main primary concern is going to be like, how can we make the shareholders more money? And the way you make shareholders more money is you increase the prices on products, especially products that they know we are going to buy. If they can raise the price on an iPhone and they know we're going to buy it, we're not going to not buy them. We talked about this, 2 weeks ago. Mm-hmm. We're not going to not buy the iPhone. So for the iPhone price to go up $100, $150, $200, whatever the number ends up being, they're not going to lose sales. So if they're not going to lose sales and the prices go up, mm-hmm. that means more money for Apple, which means more money for shareholders, right? I hope that the concerns about Apple not jumping face first into the AI race, mm-hmm. and the shareholders are congratulating Apple by not jumping face first into the AI arms race. Mm-hmm. And that's why the stock price is going up. I can get behind that because they're mm-hmm. like, look, we appreciate y'all for not announcing quadrillion dollars to build data centers all over the place. Y'all took y'all time. Y'all measured the playing field, see what everybody was doing. Then you made your move. Congratulations. Here's higher stock prices. But I don't believe that's the case.
What do you think is the reason that it ticked back up so much?
The price. They know that they're going to make a buttload of money when these iPhones come out, and they're $100 to $200 more expensive. That's just basic math.
Yeah, and I saw somewhere, I think Ming-Chi Kuo was saying that the iPhone Fold is going to be called the iPhone Ultra, and it's going to start around $2,500. So
even if I liked it, that's a lot of money.
Right. And that's the base model. Right. We don't even know what the tiers are going to be. So they're seeing dollar signs because the existing products getting a bump. But now you got a whole new revenue stream with a whole new device. So that's even more money. And they doing the Birdman hand rub because it's like all I see is dollar signs. And I I think I concur that it's mostly with the prices, a little bit with the AI stuff, but I think it's mostly with the fact that they're raising prices because they haven't raised prices when everybody else did. All right, next up is iOS 27. The public beta is now live. And the biggest thing I think coming out of iOS 27 is that they fixed quote unquote Apple Intelligence, and they've done it, and they've done that by creating SiriAI. And we saw all the details and we talked about all of that during the recap of WWDC. There is a caveat though, because every iPhone that ran iOS 26 can technically update going all the way back to an iPhone 11. But with Apple Intelligence and the new SiriAI features, you have to have an iPhone 15 Pro or newer. It says iPhone 15 Pro, Pro Max, 16 Pro, Pro Max, 17 Pro, Pro Max, and obviously the new 18 Pro, Pro Max.
But I think the 17s may qualify because they can run Apple Intelligence. So maybe just 17 regular and then 17 Pro and Pro Max can run them, but only the 15 Pros and the 16 Pros can run Apple
So because it's everything is iPhone 15 Pro and newer. I forgot about the standard iPhone 17.
Right.
I think where's the notes? Yeah, meaning only the iPhone 17 lineup. Yeah. So we've talked about this before when it comes to public betas. I typically don't go for the public betas. One, because I would have to put it on my daily driver. I think the next oldest phone I'm running, an iPhone 16 now. I didn't upgrade last year. I think, do I have a 15 or a 14? I don't know. In any event, I don't like to put public betas on my daily driver to make that my primary operating system. But a lot of people do. And I think we're going to probably start to see pretty soon the tech journals and the, I won't say amateur, but the tech people who like to get into these betas. We're probably going to start getting some feedback on how good or how bad, I'll try and stay positive and say how good SiriAI is. You plan on getting it?
No. They already are, though. If you go on YouTube, everybody's talking about iOS 27 and SiriAI. In the limited capacity that we do have it in the public beta, you go on YouTube and type in iOS 27. You'll see all the reviews about SiriAI and new Apple Intelligence. So that's already here, right? Question is, will most people download the public beta? What I have seen is that people are claiming that this is one of the most stable public betas to date. So, your concern about putting beta software on your main phone, from what I've seen, may not be a huge case. My reason why I don't do it is because I want to wait until it is done and fully cooked, right? I've seen the YouTube videos and they say, yeah, it looks pretty good. It's pretty stable. It's not breaking anybody's phones. The features that we do have access to, with a public beta or even a developer beta, you don't have access to all of the features, right? So if you do decide to do it, don't think you're going to get all of the features. You may get a couple things.
They got to save something for later.
And, right. Put out something on a device, get some feedback on that, shore that up, and then give you something else.
Yeah.
Get feedback on that, shore that up, give you something else, rinse and repeat until, the last week
They've
or
run
so.
through all the features.
Exactly. They don't want to give it to you all at once because the Apple engineers, don't want to be bogged down with all these randos, sending them
feature
feedback.
Requests, bugs,
send feedback on, garbage, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's the issue. Again, like I mentioned, This is one of the stablest betas to date, according to, the YouTube and the tech journalist community. My thing is, like I mentioned, I want to wait until it's actually cooked because I want to enjoy it. I don't want to
Yeah.
have to half enjoy the features and then wait for Apple to bleed stuff out to me. I want it all at one time on a brand new device.
It's kind of like when movies do trailers and they put the whole plot in the trailer.
And the
It's
whole
like
daggone movie in the
it's like
trailer.
why am I even watching this? You don't put all the best parts of the movie in
I
the
know,
trailer. I
I know
don't even need
exactly
to go
what's going
see it.
on. I know exactly what's going to happen. The important parts I already seen.
Right. Yeah. So it's like I can wait. I'm not in that big of a rush. So yeah. So we'll see what the fully cooked version of iOS 27 looks like in a couple months. All right, that is going to wrap up the lowdown. Let's head on into second string. Of course, everything is almost always all AI, but this is a little bit of a different take on it. So, New York State has become the first state to ban AI data centers. Governor Hochul signed an executive order yesterday, making New York the first state to impose a moratorium on new hyperscale data center construction. A 1 year pause on any facility requiring 50 megawatts or more of power. More than 12 gigawatts of power projects are already that were already queued for the power grid. Looks like they get to keep those. But according to Governor Hochul, she said, quote, progress shouldn't arrive with a higher utility bill, deleted water supply, or noise pollution. So this is probably going to win her some points with a segment of the population. We've seen a lot of states that have a lot of land mass. So if you think Southern, if you think Midwest, where they have like a bunch of land, those are typically like the places they like to go. Do you think, I guess, what New York is proposing is gonna flow down to other states, or are these other states gonna be like, just continue, show me the money. I don't care what it does. Show me the money.
It should, because the constituents are really showing up and showing out at these council meetings with these officials who are trying to sidestep them altogether, right? We'll see if maybe the midterms will be a good indicator on whether or not some of these local and federal offices are the current politicians are removed because of their show me the money attitude when it comes to these data centers. We haven't seen that. I haven't seen, not yet. And again, this just, excuse my ignorance. I haven't seen a elected official get escorted out of the office, out of the office because of their stance on a data center that's set to go up in some other neighborhood, right? But you can see, if you're on Instagram, you're on social media, it won't take you long of scrolling to see some concerned.
The people are mad about it.
Yeah, right. So having said that, we don't know what the modus operandi for this New York governor. My speculation is Mondami, the mayor of New York, is making a name for himself with the
He
people.
is killing it.
And she's like, all right, you ain't about to show me up. So what can I do?
Let me show you what I can do.
Right. Let me find something that I can get on the side of the people. Data centers, bet. Right.
Yeah.
So I'm clearly just, making
In
that
jest.
up. Right. But at the same time, saying
sense.
no to data centers as a elected official will get you.
It's going to win you some brownie points.
Exactly. So, why not? Why not more cities, more states, at least say, hey, we need to look at this a little bit closer versus go ahead and then y'all just sit there quietly while the people are all upset and then you just go on about your business.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like people, like you said, are really showing up. They are really opposed to this. And it's across, it's not just like one demographic. It seems to be across the board that people are
They're united.
opposed. Yeah, really. And a lot of it, has to do with the noise pollution, sucking up all the fresh water. Somebody was like, why they can't use recycled water? Why it's gotta be fresh water?
And we're tired, and in general, we're tired of the this new facility, whether it be a data center or a sports stadium or some major
Or storage things, because there's a moratorium in Atlanta on storage buildings. Like, no more.
right, because we fail. They keep saying, "Oh, this is going to bring new jobs and this is going to bring new revenue." It never does.
It never does.
So people are like, you know what? You've fooled me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. You're not about to fool me again.
You're not
on
about to
these
Charlie
data centers.
Brown kick me, football me no more.
Yeah, you're not. We played. We fell for it all the other times when we built these gigantic stadiums, and it just turned into like a couple 1,200
using taxpayer
jobs.
money, and the only people
we're
who
tired.
get rich are the people who own
we're tired.
them.
We're tired of that. So with these data centers, no, and it just so
It's
happened.
like we got a hard line.
Yeah,
And like you said, people are sick of it. People are tired of all the money going to other people. The same way, side note, the way that I think it was the Supreme Court said that 81 billion in that tariff money has to be paid back. But instead of going to the people, that tariff money is going back to the corporations. The corporations are the ones who jacked up the prices to undercut the tariffs. But the people who had to pay for those, we aren't going to see any benefit from that. And the prices that went up aren't coming back down. So people are just like, you know what? I'm sick of it. I'm not paying no more for a utility bill so somebody can go and make an AI slop video of, somebody kicking a can down the road or whatever the case may be. And people are like,
or making flyers
that all look the same. And people don't know how to use, and that's the thing is, it's the AI literacy. People don't know how to use these things the way that they should be to get the best benefit. But
or they do, but
and
this
they
is
don't care.
Well, the problem is it lacks creativity. If all the flyers look the same, where is the creativeness in that? And that's the whole reason why the art sector, all those people are like, no against AI, no against AI, no against AI, because they're going to take away the creativity. And then look what happened. We got all these
because
flyers
everybody's using the same prompt,
right?
Because there's a prompt on social media. Use this prompt to get this thing, and everybody's using the same prompt. And even within the prompting, you can still have creativity behind it. But people are like, why will I use my own brain when I could use this brain? And it's like, you're defeating the point. You're supposed to feed in your creativity to help you get the output that you want. But people don't want that.
People just
want the easy way.
People just want to get it done so they can sell the merchandise, the tickets, the access, so they can get money, right? Businesses are about making money. And if I can use AI and a couple of sentences in a computer to generate the thing that I need to make money, I'm doing it. Damn creativity, damn, lack of uniqueness.
If somebody else has the same thing, I don't care. It's crazy. It's crazy that they are misusing this thing and the good it could do, the things that could come out of it. But again, it's the humanity behind it. And, in order to use this technology, not just AI, but technology in general, you have to have people who are willing to do the work and be appreciative of it. But we live in a very, especially here in America, a very selfish, self-centered, individualistic, capitalistic. It's not really about community anymore. It's all about me, 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 me. What can I do for me? How can I improve? That type of thing. And they're missing all of the wonderful ways that we can actually use these tools, this technology, to actually do really good things. And that's the thing, you take the human element out of it, the human thought about who's going to be using this. In most instances, they're probably, thinking the best use case. But a lot of times it's just people who are trying to sell something and they don't really give a care what it looks like. It's just like, I just need to get this to match whatever I'm doing.
And also, who am I to tell a business owner who's probably already strapped for cash, already
Yeah.
strapped for time to say, hey, pay this designer, $2,000 to create your brand colors and your brand aesthetic when you can just pay $200 a year for the whatever AI subscription of your choice, and they can make all that for you. It's like
Yeah.
you can't compete against that.
They're calling them AI employees
You can't argue against that when it
because everybody's
saves
cash strapped now. You gotta do what you gotta do.
when it
get it.
saves time and it saves money.
Money. Yeah. It really sucks. It really is like every avenue is still it's bad. It has, I won't say bad, it has a pro and a con. And a lot of times the cons outweigh the pros, but at the same time, it's like, look, I got to get this done. I only have a limited amount of money, a limited budget, so this is what I got to do. And it really sucks that that's what it's come to, but unfortunately, that's really where we are.
That's where we've always been.
Well, just with different tools. All right, let's head on into For the Culture, where we talk about what's been going on around us. So this weekend in New York City, Jay-Z basically took over the weekend. So this is the 30th anniversary weekend of Reasonable Doubt. It was the anniversary of The Blueprint. And so it initially started out as two concerts celebrating two of his biggest albums at Yankee Stadium. Tickets went fast. And then he was like, you know what? Let's do a third night. So it was a Friday night, Saturday night, and a Sunday night. Everybody, it feels like, was in New York. I'm sad to say I was not there because when the tickets went on sale, I found out late. And then when I went to go and buy tickets, they were all gone and all the resellers were selling them for ridiculous amounts of money. Then they added the third show and I found out about that late too. And I went to go and see what those prices were. And it was like, you know what? I've seen Jay-Z about 5 times, 6 times. So I'll just miss this one, even though he's doing the same thing in Paris in September. I may try and go to that. But in any event, he had a big weekend. He brought out, again, Reasonable Doubt. He brought out all these people who collaborated on this. Beyonce came out, Tiana Taylor, I think I mean, just a laundry list of people came out to celebrate on Friday. On Saturday, I think it was a smaller group of people that came out, I think including Eminem and a couple of more people. Then all of those went well. Everybody was blowing up. Oh my God, this is great. It's the best day of my life. The fashions, people went back into, the late 90s with the jersey dresses, the Tims, the Yankee fitteds, all that stuff. Wonderful, fabulous. Everybody had a great time, looked great. Then comes Sunday night, which they called final extra innings. Well, the show was supposed to start at 9:30. The show did not start until 12:15 a.m. the next day. There was a 3-hour delay. So people were inside and there were people outside who couldn't get in. The reason the people outside who couldn't get in is the people started to bum rush the gates to get in. Some people tried to use previous day tickets. Some people tried to use made up tickets. Some people tried to use no tickets at all. So they had to basically lock down Yankee Stadium to make sure that people were safe because, again, they bum rushed the barriers. So again, they eventually got started at 12:15. Again, he had more people. I think probably one of the biggest shockers was Rihanna because she's like, I'm not doing no music no more. She came out. Of course, Beyonce came out again. Usher, Jeezy. I mean, it was just like a lollapalooza of fun that the people were having up in New York City. Big fun with the wretched. they were having at this 3-day extravaganza in New York. Did you catch any of the clips of the show? Are you interested, not interested?
No. I am getting old, and I don't know if I've mentioned this. I'm pretty sure I've mentioned this on this show. The logistics that goes into attending a popular event like this just don't strike my fancy anymore. Speaking, like I said, logistically, you got to figure out how to get the tickets. I used to be like this, with iPhones and sneakers and, video games. First day I'm out there, right? I'm standing in line. I ain't gonna stand in no long line. I'm not camping overnight. But when I can get there is when I get there. I do not want to be pressured into signing up, getting in the queue, waiting any earlier than I feel like I need to be, right? If there's an event, I should be able to go to the website. I should be able to pick the tickets. I should be able to pay for the tickets, and then I should be able to go to the event. That is not the case anymore. We're talking about, resellers, like you mentioned, resellers, bots, AI, scooping up all the tickets. And now I, as a regular person, have to make all these new steps and all these new processes in order just to get a ticket. The whole thing, I was saving up, my family gave me money towards FIFA tickets. And then everybody started talking about all the hoops you got to jump through and how much they cost and where you're going to be seated. And FIFA may sell you one ticket, and then 2 months later they may change where you sitting on. I'm like, I'm out. So for the fact that, fast forward to this story, the fact that if I got tickets to go to Jay-Z's concert on the Sunday to where the people bum rush the stage and I had to wait 3 or 4 hours, I'm done. I'm done. Right. And, people are going to bum rush. People do stuff like this, but people
especially with the lead up of the first 2 shows.
Right.
And it dominated social media, dominated media. It was everywhere.
Right. And my point is, if the Madison Square Garden, if Ticketmaster, Live Nation, whomever is responsible for issuing tickets for this event made it easier for people to get tickets, they may not have felt like they had to bum rush the stage, because them people don't have tickets because, you got to
all the hoops.
Right. And doing all that. They want to go see their,
favorite
artists.
person. Yeah.
Right. Their favorite person. And if you telling me that at 12 o'clock ticket sales open and at 12:02 tickets are sold out, I'm bum rushing the stage. I'm bum rushing the event. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I'm not saying
they were out in the Bronx.
Yeah, I'm not saying that's cause and effect. I'm not saying that's the exact reason, because Jay-Z is a superstar in that city. So Madison Square Garden would be stupid.
No, that Yankee Stadium.
Yankee Stadium. Sorry, I said Madison Square Garden. Yankee Stadium. They would be stupid not to plan or prepare for this, which clearly they didn't. And as a result, if I'm in Yankee Stadium sitting for 3-4 hours, by the time Jay-Z gets on stage, I already got the stank face. I don't know if I'm enjoying myself, so I'm just going to stay home.
Yeah, it looked like, people definitely had the stank face. People were already trying to, get their money back. Is like, what's a refund policy? And apparently the policy is, if it's more than 3 hours after Or, which was the caveat, the person gives an abbreviated show, you can get your money back. But because he did a full show, they don't get their money back. But it looked like the people had a good time.
And look,
They
don't get me
had a
wrong.
blast, even after, the 3-hour delay.
Right. People had a good time.
Yeah.
All the celebrities that was there seemed like they had a good time. A little bit of controversy, as it relates to some of the comments Jay-Z made on stage during these freestyles or whatever the case may be, as it relates to boycotting Target, as it relates to Colin Kaepernick and the whole NFL thing. There's a little controversy that came out from
It's
that.
always, you can't have something like this and not have controversy.
Right. And especially as an influential person as, Jay-Z,
Yes, he is.
people are always going to have strong opinions for or against. But outside of that, I would assume the event went off and people got the results that they were looking for. So shout out to y'all.
Yeah. I enjoyed the clips. I wish I was there, but I enjoyed the clips and I got my life through the clips. So big fun down to the wretched in Baltimore. But yeah, we'll see what it looks like with these Paris tickets. We'll see. It's usually easier overseas than it is here.
Right. Because their country cares about the people.
They cares about the people.
Our country cares about them dollars.
Dollar bills. What the dollars make me holla. But yeah. All right. That's going to wrap up for the culture. Let's head into the hookup for our tech tip of the week.
All right. So there is a new scam going out, and these scammers are using FaceTime. They're quoted calling it the FaceTime bank scam. Scammers are hijacking trust in FaceTime. They're not hijacking FaceTime. They're hijacking our trust into FaceTime. So they start by sending fake fraud alerts, then switching to video calls when they get the person on the hook to talk the victims into screen sharing while the end user logs into their bank app. The scammer then watches keystrokes, screenshots, grabs the passwords, accounts numbers, even two-factor authentication codes. So that's pretty much the long and short of it. They are using the FaceTime to say, hey, let's jump on a FaceTime call. The end user saying, oh, that's an Apple product. I trust Apple. Let's go ahead and jump on the FaceTime. They are watching us enter your passwords and your two-factor authentication. And then that's how they actually get into your bank account, drain your account. So if you want to stop this from happening, I've got 5 steps. Of course, get suspicious when it goes to video. Your bank will never try to verify over FaceTime. Step 2, never share your screen. That's the whole heist. They want you to share your screen in order so they can log your keystrokes or actually watch what you're typing on the screen so they can get that information. Another one is clock the urgency. If somebody's saying, if you don't do this right now, you're going to lose all of your money, your bank account, you're going to lose access, pause, take your time, have them clearly explain what they're trying to do. And if they are trying to rush you, that is a red flag. Never call the number in the text. So if you get a text message and says, oh, we suspect suspicious activity for X, Y, and Z bank, call this number. Don't do it. Get your credit card, turn it around, dial the number on the back of the credit card so you can confirm whether or not this is legit. And then lastly, if this does happen to you, screenshot the call, and Apple has a email that you can send to called report FaceTime fraud, all one word, at apple.com. Go ahead and snitch on these people. If enough people snitch, they'll probably slow down on the attempts to try to do this. So that is my hookup for the week. Be careful for this new FaceTime scam. Again, they're not hacking FaceTime. They're hacking your trust. That if you're willing to trust FaceTime, then you'll trust them. And then that's how the scam starts.
Wow. So this must be pretty prevalent for them to have a whole email dedicated specifically to this particular fraud. And I think it probably, like you said, the credibility of FaceTime and the fact that, if they're willing to FaceTime me, they're willing to show their faces,
right?
Then
right.
it can't be,
and it's not really showing your faces. That there's a feature in FaceTime that allows you to share your screen, similar to Zoom, similar to Google Meet. similar to all these, teams or whatever the case may be. So they'll say start the video call. You won't see them, but they are share your screen so I can see what you're doing, so I can instruct you on the right things to do. And they're instructing you to give up your bank information.
They're screen recording your whole interaction.
Exactly.
Ah, that sucks. Oh, that really sucks. And I know people get got by it. And it's really, what recourse do they have? Ah, that sucks. All right. What doesn't suck is that this is going to wrap up the show for this week. Brother Tech, where can people find you?
Sure, you can find me all over the internet at Brother Tech. That's BROTHATECH.
And you can find me at Tech Savvy Diva all over the place. You can also find all over the place at Snobble West Cast for our show handles. You can also head on over to snobwestcast.com to figure out and get all the details on how to comment, how to share, how to like, and how to support our show. And with that, we're going to wrap it up for this week, and we will see you right back here next week.
Peace.
Bye, everybody.